Hey y'all, it's Katie with Right Choice Shearing. Welcome back. Today we are talking about 3 iconic llama haircuts, one being the essential barrel cut, 2 being an adaptation of that called the lion cut, and 3, my personal favorite and one I think everybody should go with unless they're showing, is the complete naked. We got sharp gear, no fear. Let's go over there and shear. We're going to start with the barrel cut, which is going to go just from the back of the front arm to the flank here, and then we're going to extend that haircut into what is known as a lion cut, and then eventually end with him completely naked. But I'm going to show you each step of that process. I have no relationship with this llama, so I'm not certain how he's going to respond, but what I'm going to start with is working over the llama. That way he feels as if I'm on both sides of him. So if he wants to dance a little bit, he thinks I'm over there, and he'll try to come my way, which will make him think that he's stuck. So I'm going to start by going to the top line of the llama and dividing it a little bit so I can find a nice entry. Llamas typically have a pretty pointy spine, unless they're overweight, then it's going to be flat. But you kind of start at a pretty intense angle of your shears. I'm going to go from the front shoulder all the way to this back flank. That's as far as I can safely reach from this side, but as you can see, I have started from the back of the arm and gone all the way to the flank with it. I think that if you're able to go that far, you might as well take a little bit of extra and relieve some extra heat from them. You can do that by coming all the way to the point of the neck here and returning to the leg. They do get more sensitive to shearing as you start shearing their legs. That's a natural response. So for the most part, llamas are pretty calm about letting you take off this much. And on my back hip, I'm just going to create a line that transfers from the stomach all the way to the back here. When doing this cut, I like to take a comb's width, and that's how I gauge how far down to go the leg. Now, if you're going to start by taking that much, it's much simpler just to do that in your first swipe. I'm going to move to the other side because that's the side that I typically work on, but I'm going to start back here at the tail head, and I'm going to do long blows all the way up to the point of that shoulder. I'm going down at an angle because I want it to match the angle on the other side, which starts at the crease of the arm and goes up to the bottom of the neck. It's about even, it's good enough for me. To take them completely naked, it's not much, you just finish taking off what's left. The hardest parts of this llama are going to be its back and its front legs, and as you get close to its head, because almost every camelid is going to be head shy, because you wouldn't want these buzzing against your ears, neither do they. I like to start with the back leg because they tend to have less of a reaction to their back leg than their front. So my preferred order is back leg, front leg, and then if they lay down, I'll do the neck. If they don't lay down, I'll get that front leg done, and then I'll finish up with the neck. So I'll go ahead and show you how I tackle that on this side, and then it's rinse and repeat for the other. I take my first blow and send it down the back of the leg. It's important that I am this close to the llama because if it tries to kick, it will not be able to do so effectively and it will hurt a lot less than if that llama can get a full extension on me. So I'm standing as close as possible in that pocket. I'm going to start by going down the back of the leg and slowly work my way to the more sensitive area, which is the front knee. As you can see, the llama was pretty nervous as I started down there and it wanted to move away from me. To counter that, I take my left hand, my offhand, and with just 2 fingers, I rest it in their hip. And as he wants to push away from me, I push back and provide a counterbalance, making him think that he's stuck again. It doesn't take much. Now the front leg is often where they try to lay down if they're going to. So I want to go ahead and get everything done underneath that barrel. And honestly, that should have been the last step of doing just the basic barrel. But obviously I'm shearing this llama full. Now I'm going to start down that front leg. I'm going to go on the back leg first because it's the less sensitive spot. I started by just shaping the leg and getting what mats I could, and then when I realized that he wasn't going to freak out, I went ahead and took the rest of it. But now it's time to move up that neck. I don't want to leave him with a halter mullet, so I go ahead and push him forward and move that down. I might actually need a little boosty. He wants to lean back against the halter, so I'm going to loosen it and move it down. Again, I have no relationship with this llama. This is the first time we've met, first time I've shorn him. So all of this is building trust, and it's important that I am calm and patient with him the entire time. Otherwise, he's gonna freak out, and maybe I'll even freak out. Not too bad for being a pretty head shy guy. A lot of people want to grab their ears and crank on them and twist them, but that is the fastest way to make an enemy out of the llama that you are working with. Because if I went up to anybody on the street and grabbed them by the ear, they would instantly want to fight me. So I like to say that these things are for life-saving mode, and if your life depends on it, grab them. If they don't touch them. I do have to obviously hold them out of the way, but I do my best just to be in their space and not grab. All right, let's get them finished up. You can. He wants to lay down on me, and I'm okay with him moving around. That's a benefit of using this type of halter. All the pressure goes onto the back of their head and pulls this tight up against their face and doesn't crush down on their nose. Llamas do not have any structure in the end of their nose, it's just cartilage. So a typical halter, if it falls down on their nose and crushes them, it will suffocate them. Typically I like to be able to work on the neck if they go down like this, but he's given me his back leg, so I'm gonna work on that patiently and see if he stands up for his front. All right, he's done. He's naked, completely naked. This is what I like to see for every camelid, but I understand that not every situation calls for that. And in some areas it may be colder than it is in the heat of Texas. But in Texas, I always recommend that we go full naked shear, especially since a lot of abnormalities can hide under 1 year's worth of fiber, nonetheless multiple years. So when you start growing that mane, you don't see the tumor. You start leaving the legs, you don't see the mites. So it is very important to clean them up at least every other year if you're gonna do a fancy haircut, just so you can see what's underneath on that animal. He did very well, and I think that we're going to build on this. He was nervous on his front legs, but that's so typical, and back legs, same thing. You can see that I got as much as I could, but I'm not going to fight this animal and blow up his entire shearing experience for a couple little wispies. He's done good, he's going to remember that, and that's what I'm counting on. So I think he was overall a pretty good patient llama for us today, and I hope you guys learned something. If you have to, take the barrel, take a little more if you can, and make him completely naked if you can get away with it. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time. Shear on, y'all.